From Laska Gymnasium on the campus of Assumption College, WGMC TV3 proudly presents Northeast 10 basketball. Tonight, the Pace University Setters travel in from New York for this clash against the Greyhounds of Assumption. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Laska Gymnasium. I'm Kevin Shane, joined alongside by our expert analyst, Joe O'Brien. And Joe, right now, Assumption coming off a very big NE10 win. They beat Stonehill on Sunday. They got big contributions from their big men, Brian Moore and Drew Cooper, but they also got an unexpected chip in, really, from Adam Petkus, not only scoring, but on the boards as well.
Well, I don't think there's any question that Serge Zabari was thrilled with the inside play in that particular game, but any coach is nervous coming into a ball game after a great win, such as the win over Stonehill the other night.
And how about the Pace University Setters? They come in tonight 4-0 in their last two victories. The last two games they played, they scored over 100 points. Offensively, this is a very dangerous team.
Oh, it's without question the key to the game for Assumption is to play defense. They don't want to get involved in a just run and gun kind of a ball game.
And the big matchup, as you mentioned earlier, may be Matthew underneath the 6'8 center for Pace and how Drew Cooper and Brian Moore can do with him.
Matthew is a rejection machine. He's got 14 blocks in the first 4 games, and the inside offense of Assumption is going to have to really come to play to get something done there. If he could get in foul trouble, that could be a factor in the ball game.
So Assumption is 1-0 in the NE10. This is their second league game of the season. They are taking on arguably one of the most explosive offensive squads in the league. We will be back with the tip-off between Assumption and Pace right after this.
My life has changed forever.
Will I never have to worry?
Will I have the freedom to do, to go, to be whatever I want?
Will I ever be a size 10?
What do we expect from our HMO? The perfect life? All we really want is a promise to let our doctor do her job. And if anyone in our family gets sick, make sure we can go to the best doctors and hospitals. Nobody delivers on that promise like Fallon, with benefits that redefine healthcare. Then there's Fallon's Peace of Mind program. It lets you self-refer to some of the world's most famous hospitals and specialists. No gatekeepers.
Will my smile light the sky?
Will I be around to see my great-grandchildren?
Ask your employer about all the benefits only Fallon offers. Or call Fallon.
Hi, I'm Lionel Lamro. It's hard to believe that we have been in business for a little over 20 years. During those years, Lamro Ford has built a reputation of providing our customers a different car shopping experience. No pressure and no gimmicks. From our showroom to our parts department to our award-winning service department, we believe in complete customer satisfaction. Our only goal is to satisfy the customer. For a totally different car shopping experience, take advantage of our experience. Lamro Ford, Route 9, East Brookfield, where friends send their friends.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the monsters singing air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, the fans settling into their seats here for this NE10 tilt. The Pace Setters and the Assumption Greyhounds. And We are just about ready for the tip-off, and taking a look at the Hounds right now, gathering their thoughts. And obviously, Joe, their game is an up-tempo game, Assumption's, and Pace's as well, so we may see some similar styles here at work tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a high-scoring game. There's no question about that, but Coach DeBarry is trying to slow the pace a little so that it just doesn't become a rat race.
Taking a look now at tonight's starters, Todd Ziogas for Pace, Alvaro Mejia, Conliffe Matthews, the big center from the island of Trinidad, Brian Prelue, Rossi Taylor, and for the Hounds, Brad Mancini, Andy Niedzwicki, Adam Petkus, Brian Moore, and Drew Cooper. And the Hounds win the tip. Niedzwicki controlling to Mancini. Now Adam Petkus, who had that monstrous game against Stonehill, 17 points and 13 rebounds.
Pace in a very tight man-to-man defense.
Brian Moore backing in now. Turn around, and it goes. And that's one of the matchups you talked about earlier, Joe, how Moore would be able to work inside on the likes of Conliffe Matthew. Pace works it into Matthew, turnaround won't go, Petkus goes for the board, can't get it. And it is tipped by a diving Brian Moore, but out of bounds, so the Setters will resume possession.
Assumption's going to play defensively on Matthew from behind, see if he can shoot over the top.
Here's Matthew again, steamrolling his way in, and Conliffe Matthew gets the Setters on the board, and we are all tied up at 2. Now Drew Cooper. They look inside. Petkus fires the shot, and it was altered by Matthew and picked up by Todd Ziogas.
You made a good point there too, Kevin. It's not only the amount of shots you block, but it's the amount of shots that you change. You change the arc. He did it there.
And oftentimes that can certainly play havoc even before they even shoot the ball. As you get the ball and you're thinking, oh God, here's Matthew coming over. Now it is Ziogas. Ziogas fakes. They're looking inside for Matthew. Matthew's going to get it, and the hoop and the harm. Conliffe Matthew getting the bulk of the work offensively here in the early going.
Assumption's made a conscious decision to play Matthew from behind, as you'll see here. Easy entry pass into him. They're trying to make him shoot over the top, but he uses his feet, turns very well, and takes it right to the basket.
Almost looks like he's playing up on a Nerf hoop. They list him at 6'8", but as you mentioned, he looks a lot bigger than that.
He looks bigger, and he plays a lot bigger.
Matthew misses the free throw, so he cannot convert the three-point play, but the Setters lead 4-2. Drew Cooper now. And I think right now you'll see Adam Petkus around that perimeter, and that's to try to draw Matthew out. Cooper inside, and Drew Cooper gets 2, and that was right in the face of Matthew.
Cooper and Moore have both scored baskets, taking it to Matthew.
Pull-up jumper, front rim job, rebound by Cooper. Cooper home run ball to Petkus. Petkus has it, he throws it up, and it won't go.
Just bobbled, he couldn't get control of it.
Not a bad idea, though, for Assumption to try to get the big guy, Matthew, running up and down the court at a frantic pace. Great drive and dish, and Brad Mancini just stole the ball away. Coop loses, now gets it to Petkus. They go inside to Moore, it is knocked away. Brian looking for a call. Instead, it's Todd Ziogas floating in for 2.
Ziogas, a nice guard, good basketball player, averaged over 18 points a game last year.
Cooper now. The Cooper-Prelue matchup seems to be one that favors Assumption. Brian Moore working inside, he draws the foul. And you mentioned early on, Joe, that will be a factor in this game if Assumption can establish position in the blocks and take it right at Matthew and create some foul trouble.
I think it's important that the Greyhounds not allow Matthew to take them out of their inside game, and so far they've been fairly effective taking it at him. Here they're going to draw him into the play, and I think he's going to make the foul.
They actually give the foul to Rossi Taylor, so
well, Pace got a break there.
Dodging a bullet right there.
No question about it. Matthew was the fouler.
Brian Moore's first free throw attempt goes in and out. Moore had 23 points and led the team with 10 boards. or rather second on the team with 10 boards to Petkus in the win Sunday against Stonehill.
Actually, a great win for the Greyhounds, not only because Stonehill is an outstanding team, but a win on the road in the Northeast 10 is a special victory.
Those are tough to come by. Ziogas. Now they whip it around the horn. The 3-ball back rim rebound by Cooper. Brian Moore for 3. Won't go. Petkus battling with Matthew for the boards. Matthew touched it last, and no, they give it to Pace. They're saying that Adam Petkus touched it last.
A replay might show slightly differently. Let's see here. Adam and Matthew going at it pretty hard. Looks as if it hit off Matthew's hands. Pace got a break.
We get a better vantage point than do the officials. Todd Ziogas with a three-pointer.
And that's not a rarity in his case. He can really fill it up from three-point land.
As can Alvaro Mejia. Those two very big outside threats. Brian Moore off-balance shot, and Adam Petkus getting an over-the-back violation, and Serge is not going to be happy with that foul.
That's the kind of foul that we've talked about Adam committing in the past. He has to get by that. Experience has to teach him not to waste that foul.
So Mejia will bring the ball up court for the Setters. He, along with Ziogas, are the deep threats. Ziogas inside to Matthew. Now they kick it outside to Taylor, won't go. Rossi Taylor, same spot as he missed one trip earlier down the floor. Niedzwiecki for 3. Back of the rim, rebound Matthew.
Coach Sabari might think that that was a little bit of a quick shot selection by Niedzwiecki.
9-5 Pace lead. Taylor, the dish to Matthew. Matthew won't go, rebound Niedzwiecki. Adam Petkus beating Matthew up the court. Drew Cooper now trying to get it in to Petkus to reward the big fella, but it is tipped away by Rossi and now stolen again by Niedzwiecki. So this is what we thought was going to happen, and we have certainly not been disappointed with the pace, no pun intended, of this game in the early going. Niedzwiecki, Brian Moore battling inside. Moore getting Matthew up in the air, and he converts.
Nice dish, good fake by Moore, got Matthew off his feet, delivered the basket.
That Moore-Prelue matchup does seem to be one that the Hounds can exploit. Ziogas won't go from 3, rebound Petkus. Mancini now taking it over the timeline. Hounds within 2, 9-7. Mancini takes it in, loses it now, picked up by Ziogas. Ziogas waiting for the troops, has them in Mejia. Mejia's 3-pointers off the mark and rebound by Drew Cooper.
But that's exactly the pace of game that Pace wants to play.
They do like that up and down game, and you can see on the sideline they will substitute a lot of players. There are 5 fresh bodies waiting to come in. Niedzwiecki, strong drive to the hole. Too strong as it goes off the backboard, off the rim, and out. Setters still up by 2. Prelue inside to Matthew. Now to Ziogas. 3-pointer by Todd Ziogas, his second 3 of the game, and Pace has a 5-point lead.
Nice move by Pace going inside to open up the swing pass from Matthew back out to Ziogas.
Inside they go to Brian Moore. Brian Moore with an easy floater, and that's a mismatch. He had Ziogas on him. Moore quickly has 7 points. The Hounds have 9 overall. So Brian Moore has been the show offensively for Assumption thus far. Ziogas off the drive. Mancini steals Moore ahead to Niedzwiecki. Niedzwiecki, an uncontested layup. An Assumption fast break into perfection, and it all starts with defense.
Niedzwiecki caused the turnover, and he wound up being a recipient of the pass from Moore for the basket.
Assumption trails by 1. Ziogas inside to Matthew. Matthew muscling his way, turnaround good.
Matthew is a little bit better offensive player than I was led to believe.
He has a nice touch for a big fella.
Nice touch, and he uses his feet very well. He gets good position.
Now Mancini working the pick and roll with Brian Moore, and Brad Mancini gets his first 2 of the game to keep the Hounds to within a point, 14-13. Mejia to Ziogas. They get it inside to Matthew. Matthew again, beautiful drop step.
And again, I think Assumption's going to have to change their tactic. They're going to have Petkus try to deny Matthew the ball a little bit, at least to move him up the lane. You can't allow him to settle on the box the way he's settling so far.
You mentioned the quickness, and we certainly saw it there as he used a drop step on Adam Petkus and went in for two. Niedzwiecki, great dish as he was falling down to Drew Cooper. Now he'll get the ball back. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Brian Moore working on Prelou. He wants the ball in the block. Adam Petkus to Niedzwiecki for a three that is well beyond the arc. Won't go. Moore battling for the loose ball, and Matthew just took it away. Ziogas for three. Won't go. Rebound by Brian Moore. And you can see Brian's fired up. I think he wanted an over-the-back call down the other end as Matthew took it right from him. Mancini looking inside to Cooper. Drew Cooper tipped. Oh, they're going to call offensive interference on Brian Moore as he tried to tip home the Drew Cooper miss. We will step aside from the Lasker Gymnasium with 11:40 remaining in the half, and Pace leading by 3, 16-13.
Hi, I'm Lionel Lamro. It's hard to believe that we have been in business for a little over 20 years. During those years, Lamro Ford has built a reputation of providing our customers a different car shopping experience. No pressure and no gimmicks. From our showroom to our parts department to our award-winning service department, we believe in complete customer satisfaction. Our only goal is to satisfy the customer. For a totally different car shopping experience, take advantage of our experience. Lamro Ford, Route 9, East Brookfield, where friends send their friends.
Assumption Greyhound basketball on WGMC TV3 is brought to you by Lamro Ford in East Brookfield and Fallon Healthcare System.
We're back, everyone, to the Lasker Gymnasium, and Pace clinging to a 3-point lead. We're taking a look here at Andy Niedzwiecki on the break as the Hounds doing it with defensive
play where Niedzwiecki causes the turnover, knocks the ball away from behind. Moore comes up with it, makes a long court pass to Andy. Andy winds up with the layup.
Pace with the ball right now. Under 12 minutes remaining here in the half.
Assumption in man-to-man now. They've been switching man-to-man and a matchup zone.
Turnovers are even thus far, 3 apiece. The rebounds favor Pace, 9-7. Assumption yet to grab an offensive rebound. The Setters have 1. Field goal percentage relatively similar. Assumption is 43% from the floor, while Pace is shooting at 47%. And now there's a steal. Beautiful play by Brant Calver. He just took it away. Mancini on the drive, looking for help now. Gets it into Calver. Calver, turn around, pull up, won't go. Rebound by Casey Carney, and Carney is fouled underneath.
Casey's an outstanding offensive rebounder for a guard.
So some substitutions going on right now. One of them for the Hounds, Casey Carney.
Calver made the good defensive play down the other end. Here he has an opportunity for his jumper. Doesn't make it, but Carney's on the offensive board here. Gets pushed.
Carney at the line will be shooting 2.
Good matchup, too, for Calver on Johnson. Calver goes 210 pounds at 6'4", while Tyrone Johnson is a svelte 175.
As we look to the rest of this season, more productive minutes out of Calver and Brochu are going to be very, very important for the Hounds.
They love that up-tempo style, this Assumption, to press and force the turnovers, and in order to do that, they'll need some help from their bench because they need to keep the bodies fresh out there. Pull up 3, air ball by Carlington. And it will be Assumption ball, and the Hounds will have an opportunity to take their first lead of the ball game with 10:38 to go in the first half of play. And Pace right now has emptied their bench with a brand new set of bodies out there. So this is when Assumption really has to make hay, Joe, I think, when you have guys like Matthew sitting on the bench.
Pace tells us that they're going to play everybody in their lineup in the ball game. It's not uncommon for them to put in 5 subs, such they've done here. Assumption has to make hay while Matthew's on the bench, so as you say.
Series history, it's the 4th meeting between the Setters and the Hounds. Pace leads it 2-1. Last year, each team held court with the home field advantage. Now, Brian Moore inside on a dish from Mancini.
Mancini, real nice look. Brian, nice cut to the hoop.
Assumption would love to have that home win again here this season as they did last. They lead 17-16. First time all game that they've led, and Brian Moore stole it, but now it is picked back up by Pace. Jay Carlington with a three-pointer, and Pace takes the lead right back.
Carlington's a 5'8" Mighty Mite who loves to shoot the three. He's been effective.
The inside feed, too much for Casey Carney as Matt Brochu was looking to hit a cutting Carney, and it was a good look.
This is Pace out to Mighty Mite. Jay Carlington comes in off the bench and doesn't hesitate to fire. He threw an air ball just before that.
And now an offensive foul against Pace. Casey Carney picking it up. And that is a trademark of Assumption teams, and certainly ones that are coached by Serge DeBarry and ones that have Sean Conrad on the bench. That's certainly his style of play.
And it's particularly important that you get offside help such as that when you don't have an intimidating center, so that you drive people towards the baseline instead of into the middle.
Matt Brochu from Nipmuc High School, just up the road. Casey Carney, quick three, won't go. Cooper battles for the rebound, and it is off the hands of Tyrone Johnson. It will stay Assumption basketball. Andy Niedzwiecki back in the game now. He is the floor general for the Hounds. Goes inside to Carney. Carney, the hoop and the horn. Casey Carney, beautiful play, and he draws the foul.
That's an out-of-bounds play, just the way we practice it every day, I'm sure.
Setters foul on 25, James Johnson. Johnson's first, fourth.
Carney, nice cut from the weak side, makes the little jumper in off the glass. Has a chance here for a conventional three.
Nice body control by Casey, too, hanging in the air, drawing the contact and then getting the ball out. He has 4 points in the game thus far.
Casey's become a much better offensive player. He's always been a great shooter.
He averages 12 points a game for the Hounds coming off the bench, and he certainly is a deep threat. That time taking it inside. And now Assumption has the lead back at 20-19.
And Assumption now in a matchup zone.
Pace working it around, and the spin move is in and out for Al Elliott. Elliott's their leading scorer, but he comes off the bench, but he's the player to watch out there. 31, Al Elliott averaging 25 a game.
He's a pretty special player. He was the freshman of the week in the Northeast 10 last week. Not only averaging 16 points or so, but he's shooting almost 70% from the floor, which is incredible.
He has led Pace in scoring in each of their last 2 games. And in both contests, the Setters scored over 100 points. His high for the season is 25. He actually averages 15.8. So he hits 1 of 2 free throws, and we are all knotted up at 20.
Jim Harder would like to see this game in the hundreds. Coach DeBarry would like to see it in the high 80s.
Cooper now, size mismatch, gets it inside to Calver, and Grant Calver using his body very effectively.
That's one of the things I just talked about, Calvert getting more productive minutes. That's going to be very important in the future.
Now the Hounds force a turnover. Brochu picks it up to Niedzwiecki. Cooper, they'll push. Great look inside to Casey Carney. Carney won't get the roll. Calvert keeps it alive. Brochu going for it along with Carlington, and Brochu got a hand on it last. It will be Pace basketball. Brochu's learning there that in the college game, you've got to go 100% every single minute you're out there on the floor.
And it's a bit more physical. No touch fouls.
Look at Grant
Here
Calvert.
We have Cooper with the great look to Carney going without the ball. Looked like he had an easy one. Wasn't able to get the shooter's roll that he usually gets.
Pace now with some substitutions. They still have Elliott in the game, but Matthew coming back into the game, the big fella, as is Alvaro Mejia, who has the ball now. There's Elliott inside to Matthew. Ball goes on the ground. So do a few Assumption players, and Brochu finally comes out of the pack with it. Casey Carney now with the ball. Inside to Brian Moore. Moore, turnaround, won't go, but he draws the foul on Brian Prelude.
And as you mentioned earlier, that's a matchup that Assumption is taking advantage of.
Prelude 6'3", 195, and
Moore establishes
6'5".
great position inside. Nice look in by Carney. Moore's able to use his body, draws the foul. Prelude's not going to be able to contain him from behind.
And you can see that Brian Moore is very confident, too, with that matchup. When he gets the ball, he's not looking to go anywhere but right up with it. Brian missing the first free throw attempt.
Brian's usually a pretty good foul shooter the last couple of games that I've watched, so he doesn't seem to have his rhythm from the foul line for some reason.
He hits 1 of 2. Brian Moore leading the Hounds with 10 points, and Assumption leading the game 23-20. We'll be back with more Assumption basketball right after this.
My life is changed forever.
Will I never have to worry?
Will I have the freedom to do, to go, to be whatever I want?
Will I ever be a size 10?
What do we expect from our HMO? The perfect life? All we really want is a promise to let our doctor do her job. And if anyone in our family gets sick, make sure we can go to the best doctors and hospitals. Nobody delivers on that promise like Fallon, with benefits that redefine healthcare. Then there's Fallon's Peace of Mind program. It lets you self-refer to some of the world's most famous hospitals and specialists. No gatekeepers.
Will my smile like the sky?
Will I be around to see my great-grandchildren?
Ask your employer about all the benefits only Fallon offers. Or call Fallon.
At the conclusion of today's game, Joe and I will select the Flagship Bank player of the game. Flagship Bank will make a donation of $100 and that player's name to the Assumption College General Scholarship Fund. And now Pace calls for a timeout. They had trouble inbounding the ball, and the setters had to call a timeout. Great pressure from Assumption.
Assumption did a great job of full court pressure there. Seemed to catch Pace a little bit surprised.
We mentioned, Joe, at the break there that looking at the scoring sheet, you see Brian Moore with 10 points, but Drew Cooper, the man who led them in scoring with 27 in the Stonehill game, has only 2 points thus far, and they need to get Cooper to the offensive groove.
I think that's a bit of the result of the matchup. I think Matthew is on the block where Cooper's playing, and Brian Moore has the advantage over Prelude.
And they will continue to probably work that matchup as you see Al Elliott break the press. Elliott got hung up in the air, looked like he was looking to go to Matthew, was forced to shoot as Cooper took away Matthew as an option, and it goes as an air ball picked off by Drew Cooper.
Young players should learn, never leave your feet to pass. Always think shot, get caught in the air.
Brian Moore got caught trying to thread the needle inside to Coop, picked off by Matthew. Ziogas, now they whip it around the horn. Mejia for 3, and it is good.
3-point field goal by Mejia.
Alvaro Mejia, another one of the deep threats for Pace, gets his first points of the ball game, and they come via the three-pointer.
Mejia, Carlington, and Ziogas can fill it up.
Brochu working on Elliott. That's a matchup as well. It favors the height. There's Brian Moore once again working over Prelude.
Assumption extending its defense. Not necessarily just to steal a ball, but to take some time off the shot clock.
Shot is missed and picked up by Coop. Drew Cooper doing some yeoman's work on the boards. He has been matched up with Matthew for the majority of this game, and Coop giving away a lot of size in that matchup.
And Coop spending more time out on the perimeter trying to keep Matthew away from the shot blocking ability that he has.
Hounds lead it 25-23. We have had 4 ties in the game and 4 lead changes. You are watching Assumption basketball live from the Alaska Gymnasium in Worcester, Massachusetts on WGMC TV3. Andy Niedzwiecki to Moore. Moore backing in, pump fakes, goes up strong, and Brian Moore has himself more points. And Assumption has a 4-point lead, their biggest of the night.
And again, Assumption extending the defense.
Pace working it now. Elliott gives it in the hand of Ziogas to Mejia. Mejia almost got caught in the air as well. The three-pointer is no good from Prelude. Rebound by Brochu.
Nice defensive play by Matt Brochu. He stole the ball from Matthew, who had originally garnered the rebound.
Al Elliott all over Brochu. Brochu 6'5", Elliott 6'2". It's a size matchup they can use, but Elliott looking to use his quickness. And there's Drew Cooper bringing Matthew out and draining the three.
And that's
very big play.
That's exactly why Cooper hasn't been in the offense as much as usual, because he's not playing inside, but he has the ability to sink that three from the perimeter as he did there.
And he brings the big fella out, which opens things up as well underneath for Assumption if Coop can continue to knock down those threes and make Matthew respect him and get out there. Now Matthew inside on Moore. Turnaround, won't go, front rim, picked up by Brian Moore. Assumption starting to defend Matthew a little bit better. Cooper, another three, and it's all net. Drew Cooper is on fire, and Assumption is as well. They lead by 10, 33-23, with 4:37 here remaining in the first half. Mejia with a three ball, and he knocks it down. Alvaro Mejia, his second three of the night.
33-26, that's the style of game that Coach DeBarry has planned on.
Cooper working on Matthew, won't get the roll, rebound Matthew. Now they go to the floor and Drew Cooper grabs it. It's going to be a jump ball. The arrow going in the direction of Pace. But great hustle there from Drew Cooper as he followed up his own miss. Got on the ground and kept it alive, and we'll take a look at Coop here, draining the long ball.
Cooper, again, as we said, is going to play on the perimeter, try to keep Matthew away from the basket. Not only is it effective in keeping it away, but Cooper can knock that one down as he did there.
What is Serge DeBarry telling his team right now? They lead 33-26. They've had a pretty good spurt here late in the first half. What is he telling them at the huddle?
Most important thing is to stay with the game plan. We don't want to get involved in just a run and gun game.
You see Drew Cooper, 6'5", 195. Conleth Matthew, the man he's been guarding, is 6'8", 230. And he may actually be bigger than that. So Cooper is being asked to take on the giant, play the role of David.
See if Assumption can be as effective with their out-of-bounds play here as they were before.
Assumption now leading the rebound advantage 13-11. They have 3 offensive boards. And they've also created some havoc defensively for Pace, who has 9 turnovers, while the Hounds have 5. Great look inside, Mancini. They go to Niedzwiecki, then they went to Petkis. Petkis misses, gets his own rebound back, misses again. And now Pace controls. Matthew gets it out. We're going to get a foul on Niedzwiecki as he was trying to take the ball away from behind. But Todd Ziogas collected and then was pushed to the ground.
Hustle play by Niedzwiecki, but certainly a foul. Adam Petkis would like to have those opportunities back. He had 3 chances there to finish it off.
And there's a timeout on the floor with 3:52 remaining. We'll take a timeout as well and return with more Assumption basketball right after this.
Hi, I'm Lionel Lamro. It's hard to believe that we have been in business for a little over 20 years. During those years, Lamro Ford has built a reputation of providing our customers a different car shopping experience. No pressure and no gimmicks. From our showroom to our parts department to our award-winning service department, we believe in complete customer satisfaction. Our only goal is to satisfy the customer. For a totally different car shopping experience, take advantage of our experience. Lamro Ford, Route 9, East Brookfield, where friends send their friends.
There's some stories I'd love to spend more time on and some people I'd love to spend more time with. The best part for me about being a reporter is knowing that I've affected people's lives. I would say the worst part is probably not being able to do enough for some of the kids I see. A lot of our stories take time to put together from beginning to end, and it always amazes me to look at the final product. We can be at an event at 8 o'clock at night and have them on the air at 10 o'clock. Knowing that I've made at least one person smile is enough for me.
Right back at the action, folks. Assumption in front, 33-26. The Hounds in the midst of a 10-3 run. Storm bomb now out to Johnson. Johnson kicks it to Mejia. Mejia's 3 won't go. Rebound Petkis. And Petkis fouled from Henrik Stormbomb.
Pace again trying to go without Matthew, and they're a different ball club without him.
And Assumption certainly did a terrific job of defending against Matthew. After he left early in the first half, came back, He did not register a point when he came back off the bench, so Assumption turned up the defensive pressure on Matthew, and they were able to keep him off the board.
They may have made a slight adjustment and tried to deny him the ball and move him up a little higher on the block.
Niedzwiecki now, guarded by Mejia. Now to Casey Carney, to Mancini. Assumption essentially with a 3-guard rotation right now. Drew Cooper, nice leaner in the lane, and Drew Cooper has got to be enjoying, the matchup there. Brian Moore going hurtling into the crowd to save that ball.
Cooper loves the fact that Matthew's out of the game. He's back home now in the blue.
Certainly is, and some of those people in the first row would be back home with some helmets on and some shoulder pads. Drew Cooper, check that, Brian Moore flying into the first and second rows trying to save that ball. Now Mejia. Mejia and Ziogas.
Pace team right now looks like 5 guards on the floor.
Certainly does, and Mejia and Ziogas as well, with Tyrone Johnson, all of them kind of standing out beyond the arc, just waiting, I think, for that open 3. Now Ziogas takes it inside, and he draws the foul. Looked kind of like a broken play. Ziogas just kind of got caught in motion and stayed in motion.
Might have been a little bit lucky there to wind up being fouled. Ziogas really wants the outside shot. He winds up taking it to the basket. Looks a little bit out of control here. Still we have the foul. Brad Mancini, I think, the fouler.
Mancini did, in fact, pick up the foul. Former 2-sport star at St. Peter Marion, Brad Mancini, playing in his backyard here. Ziogas misses them both. The tip is in and out by Brian Prelue. And Drew Cooper tracking down the loose ball. Casey Carney now spin. Good look inside, but it was picked off. Nice defense by Prelue. Prelue now to Mejia. Mejia looking to Ziogas, and Mancini doing a good job getting back on defense, getting a hand on it. Here's the second look at that. Brad Mancini getting back into the play.
Pace has the 3-on-2 opportunity there, but Brad makes a nice recovery.
Another case, too, of a player getting up in the air, Joe, as you mentioned. You get up there and sometimes they take away your option and you have nowhere to go.
Have to know what you're doing before you leave the floor.
Ziogas inside now. Elliott now back out. It goes to Mejia, to Ziogas. Mejia. Mancini changing light bulbs on the fake, and the shot is missed and picked up by Brian Moore. Niedzwiecki now. Drew Cooper looking to get position on the block. He's guarded by Al Elliott, and Moore looked to go inside. Elliott just picked it off. Good job of defense by Elliott, and they're going to call Brian Moore for a blocking foul. Moore is not going to like this call.
No, in fact,
now they change it.
They did change it.
And I think that's a good call.
But I think Brian was there in time. Elliott makes the good feed, but you still have to stay under control. The breakaway basket for Pace had he not made the follow-through foul.
Field goal percentage, again, still relatively even for both squads. 46% for Assumption, 48% for Pace. Brian Moore at the line right now. Moore has 14 points to lead the Hounds, and Brian Moore will be our halftime guest, so you want to stay tuned at halftime as we chat with Mr. Moore.
Assumption's offense in the lane, led by Moore and Cooper, has been outstanding.
Moore again struggling at the line. Mejia, Ziogas. They go inside to Prelue. Now Mejia for 3, and it is good.
That just breaks an Assumption run of 18-7 since the 9-12 mark.
Mejia has 3 threes right now, and that seems to be Pace's ball game as they look to set that 3-point shot for any one of players, but Ziogas and Mejia in particular. Now there's a steal. Ziogas taking it in on Brad Mancini, and Mancini called for his second foul of the game.
Assumption has been particularly careless with the ball in the last 3 minutes. They've had at least 4 turnovers.
His third personal foul, 16.
Here's Alvaro Mejia.
This is what he came to do. Ball goes inside, swings back outside to Mejia at the top of the key, and he drains it.
Attempting 2 shots.
Pace is 1 of 5 from the free throw line thus far, making 2 of 6. As Ziogas hits the first of his 2 free throw attempts.
Actually, Assumption's poor ball handling has been a factor in Pace's comeback. 35-30 now.
And Ziogas knocks them both down. So Todd has 10 points in the ball game, averages 15.5 for the season, has 10 already, as Pace getting back into this game, drawing 2 within 4. And now another turnover. Niedzwiecki was looking to go into Cooper, and that ball was picked. And now Prelou using the glass effectively for his first 2 points of the ball game. Pace getting contributions up and down the roster offensively. Brian Prelou chipping in with his first 2 of the ball game.
And that's not surprising. Coach said they were going to play 10 or 11 guys. Everyone could perform.
Pace on a 10-2 run right now. Niedzwiecki front rims a 3 attempt. And you look at Johnson calling for the ball down court. Ziogas pulls it up. He and Mejia playing with it. Now they go inside Al Elliott. The turnaround in the lane won't go. Rebound by Moore.
Assumption going to hold for the last shot here.
15 seconds remaining in the first half. Assumption by 2, 35-33. Niedzwiecki guarded by Mejia. We get a whistle down low with 5 seconds left.
But Prelou, I think, holding Moore.
It is just that, a foul on Prelou, his second of the game, and it'll put Brian Moore at the line.
Look at Coach Harder here. He has to be pleased with this turnaround, 35-33. He was looking at a 10-point deficit with about 9 minutes to go.
He has seen his team scratch and claw its way back, forcing turnovers, playing good defense, and Moore missing the free throw again. Brian shaking his head now, and time runs out before the shot. Todd Ziogas looking to go coast to coast before the half ran out, did not get the shot off in time. So Assumption goes into the locker room at the break, leading 35-33. We'll be back with more halftime activities right after this.
Hi, I'm Lionel Lamro. It's hard to believe that we have been in business for a little over 20 years. During those years, Lamro Ford has built a reputation of providing our customers a different car shopping experience. No pressure and no gimmicks. From our showroom to our parts department to our award-winning service department, we believe in complete customer satisfaction. Our only goal is to satisfy the customer. For a totally different car shopping experience, take advantage of our experience. Lamro Ford, Route 9, East Brookfield, where friends send their friends.
Welcome to a land of law, a place ruled by the dinosaur, where cactus-clad mountains spew lava and smoke, and craters hide inquisitive folk, where wise old turtles share their views on creatures with red vests and powder blue shoes. There's so much to Galapagos, so much we could say. 'Twould be most preposterous if it all went away.
What do you want to leave your children, the story or the place that inspired it? Since 1961, World Wildlife Fund has helped safeguard thousands of species like these. Animals which can be found nowhere else on Earth. But in areas like the Galapagos Islands, we need your help to do more. Phone us at 1-800-CALL-WWF to find out about World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet campaign and about our free action kit, which includes information on what you can pledge to do to help leave our children a living planet.
years ago. Everyone was running. I started running too. A grown-up told me that it would be okay. Then I saw her.
60,000 disasters a year all come down to one single terrible moment for someone. Call now, because help can't wait.
Welcome back to halftime, everyone. Joining me is Assumption Junior forward Brian Moore. And Brian, talk a little bit about your experience. You didn't take the direct route that a lot of kids have taken to the college hoop ranks.
Well, right out of high school, I just worked for a little while. I graduated young. I was 17. I played pretty well in high school, but I didn't get really many looks from colleges to play basketball from then on. I wanted to, but it was mostly D3 schools, and I would have had to pay my own way, and my family, we didn't have the income to pay for school at that time. So my best option was just to work for then and hopefully get back into school whenever it was possible. So I worked for a couple years. Out of high school, I ended up growing a couple more inches, getting a little stronger, just playing whenever I could play, working on my game, men's leagues, things like that, playing pickup games. And luckily 3 years later, I just tried out for Bay State games, which I had played for in high school before, just to see what the competition level was like after 3 years of not playing. And met up with some people that I was used to playing with. I played real well in the tryouts and whatnot, and from then on I got a chance to play at Massasoit Community College with Coach Mark Ottavianelli. He was a real nice guy, gave me a great opportunity to play there. Didn't promise anything, just said, come here, you get some education, you get to play a little while, see if this is something for you. And so that worked out. Played there for a year, played reasonably well. Got some good grades, realized out of high school that, in high school I got maybe, just enough to pass, just enough to get by, but once you got out of high school, you realize how much education really matters. And to get an opportunity to go to school for free, further my education was, of course, the first step in it, then also play basketball. So once I left Massasoit, I had opportunity for a tryout here at Assumption, and Serge wasn't even looking to get me in here. He was just doing a favor for my coach at Massasoit, and luckily I played well in the tryout and won a scholarship out from some other kids that they probably were looking at. And I filled a position they weren't really looking to fill, but things worked out for the best for the both of us. And now, I'm here at Assumption, real good. It's got a real good education level. It's somewhere I can get a degree with, further my education here, and play some real good basketball at the D2 level, which I know I can play at now.
And at 25 years old and having taken the 23 years old, I'm sorry, Steve Merck said it was 25. He's trying to give you a few years.
Yeah.
At that age and having spent a couple years away from the game and away from school, do you think that you have a maturity level that helps you both on and off the court, as opposed to some of the kids who come in, you see some 17, 18-year-olds come in?
Yeah, on the floor, I can see maturity levels. I try to attain like a floor leadership, somewhat. I know Coop and Andy, they're the captains, the floor leaders. But even though I think I'm kind of, to myself, I consider myself an unwritten captain, where I'm the oldest on the team. So people look up to me as being the oldest. He must know a little more than me. So on the floor, I look at it that way. You miss a shot, it's all right. You're gonna get another opportunity. You miss some free throws, you just don't get down on yourself. But that's just how I look at it from that point of view.
And how tough has it been to fill the role of leader with Kurt Holt gone and Steve St. Martin gone? I know early in the year that's something that your coach Serge was talking about, that we're looking right now for that leadership.
Yeah, I think we're learning as we go. It's very hard to do away with two of the leaders, the floor captains, like they were, because even coming to this year, it just felt awkward with them not being around. But at least we still have Steve on the bench as an assistant coach, so that's working out for us. And it's just, we're still learning the floor leaders as we go, but guys are taking charge. Even guys that don't play a lot, maybe they play minimal minutes, or guys that don't even play at all in practice are floor leaders, like Jay Chavois, who's a senior. Guys like that. Those are the leaders on the court and off the court.
How about Right now you're 3-2, your record 3-2. Talk a little bit about the Kentucky trip you took, because you guys are taking a few trips this year, and that must bring the team closer together as well when you get away from the campus and it's only you know, the entire team eating together, you know, staying together and playing together.
Yeah, the road trips are fun no matter where we go. We go to Kentucky, we go to Florida, we're going to go to Florida, we're going to go to Pennsylvania. I mean, even the short road trips, maybe to Stonehill. Those are, you know, just times for everyone to get together, you know, and bond, even especially the new kids that are freshmen coming in or the walk-ons. Like, everyone gets to be a part of the team, and those are the fun trips. Going to Louisville was a good time, you know, especially for Coop, because he's from Louisville, and you know, it was a good time. I mean, Louisville's Louisville. You know, there's not a lot to do out there, but we found a lot to do. You know, there's a little Steak and Shake across the street that we end up going to every night. They had the best shakes in the world. I think I'm gonna open a franchise out here in Worcester, but they got the best shakes ever. But I mean, those are just little things like that. You know, we might not do a lot of stuff, but you know, we get along, we have fun, we find things to do.
Did you guys get on Cooper at all for the lack of things to do in Louisville?
Well, there was two things to do. We could either go to the University of Kentucky and get a tour, or go see Larry Bird's house in French Lick, and I chose to sleep. So I mean, I don't know what that says. I think I was just tired. We had a game that night, but we had fun out there. We had a couple good games. We played Bellarmine College and we played Campbellsville. You know, we went 1-1. We probably should have won the game against Campbellsville. We just came with a lack of effort in the second half against them. But you know, we're 3-2 now, and I think we're better than that. I think we're, you know, potentially we could have been 5-0, but we played St. Rose right out of the gate, and we were still a feeling out process without Kurt and Steve in the lineup for an actual game. You know, we had to get used to that, and. But I mean, we're going to hang in there. We're going to do well this year.
And you had a great tournament. You were named to the All-Tournament team, and coming into this season, you were a preseason All-American. Is that a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders? With those expectations, do you put a little bit more pressure on yourself?
As a matter of fact, no, because I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. You know, I mean, the trophy, I give all that stuff to my dad. Like, you know, I get the trophies, I put it in my bag, I don't even read it. You know, my dad's, oh, you got a trophy? Yeah, here, look at it, read it. I don't know what it is. You know, he puts all the clippings in the phone, in the books. You know, I just, you know, if I thought about those things too much, then it would hurt me and it would hurt the team. But that's not why I play. I don't play to get the awards. I play for us to win on the court, and that's the fun part, is winning as a team, not just, you know, all those little things afterwards.